has been a long time coming, over 2 years now since I bought my first Footium club, and we have finally reached the point where I can say, when now? It's time to start season 0 of Footium. A big welcome back to the Moza channel. You can probably guess my name from the channel name, it is Moza. If you have not been here before, consider dropping a like and a subscribe if you want to see more Footium content. There'll be plenty of it to come in the months and the years to come if the game is as big a success as it could well be. But there's been a lot that's changed. If you've been here before, you'll know I did a previous series on the alpha development of the game, the play tests, talking about what was good, what was bad, what was needing improving, and we're now at the point where full launch has crept up and people haven't really realised. So I'm here to tell you today the basic changes, everything you need to know, and what to expect as we go into season 0, which I'll explain a bit more as we go on, into the full official season 1 of Footium. So as you're watching this, pre-season for season 0 starts right now, today, assuming they've hit the launch button by now. Roland, watching you. So, what's changed? For those of you that have been involved with Footium or kept an eye on it and you've not heard anything for months other than maybe seeing the player drop, quite a lot is different. So let me get you up to speed on where we are. Anyone brand new to this, Footium is a Web3 football management game in which you own clubs, you own players, you can sell the clubs or sell the players at any time on the marketplace, but ultimately if you own them, only you can use them, the club or the players. There are leagues of 12 teams, starting with the Premier, 12 teams in the top flight, the second tier, 2 leagues of 12, all the way down to tier 8, with lots of leagues of 12 teams. There have been changes made since the alpha, so for those of you that have been around for a while, one thing you'll notice immediately is promotion and relegation have changed. They used to be the case where only the champions would get automatic promotion, with 3 teams going down from each league. That has now switched up. There will be 2 automatic promotion spots from every single league, and there will be 4 relegation spots from every single league. Basically what they've done is do away with playoffs and add an extra relegation spot to make a little bit more movement in the Footium pyramid, which personally I think is a good thing. It does mean that most teams will have something to play for till the bitter end of every season. You'll have 1 game per day, possibly 2 if there's a cup game as well, but it's all set up to mean that there's regular movement and regular change in the overall Footium pyramid as a whole. We'll get into the players and their respective attributes shortly, but the first thing to let you know on the player front is there will be registration windows. So there'll be a middle part of the season where you cannot register new players. You'll be able to buy them, say, for I believe it's around about a week or so when the season starts, register them any time. There'll then be a blackout on registrations during the season, another chance to buy players, and then a blackout to the end of the season. So think of that as the summer transfer window, the January transfer window, and you can't just buy players in the times where there's a blackout. It makes things a bit fairer. It means people can't just spend money at the death to try and circumvent the leagues. It follows real life. And again, because of that, I'm quite a big fan of the way they've set it up. The match engine itself has had a few tweaks to it. It works in roughly the same way as it has previously. We don't get to see everything under the hood. I will be testing vigorously to see if I can work out anything as we go along and share what I can as well. I won't be selfish about it. But everyone will be doing the same thing in this season 0 test season that's coming. Before we delve into the test season, these players that have dropped, to give you a very brief overview of the way it is now working, you need to buy players separately from clubs. When you buy a club on the marketplace, it will come with no players. So you can do a deal with someone to buy players in the same transaction and do it as a bundle. But if you buy the club on its own, you will need to go into the marketplace and buy your own players. The academy is still there, and that has changed. Every year there will be 5 academy players available to mint, and I will show you on screen just now how much that will cost. The price goes up per level, you're in per division. So at the highest level, based on today's ETH price, you'd be talking $177 approximately if you're in the top tier to mint a player, whereas if you're in the bottom tier, Division 8, where most of us are to start, it'll be just over $7 per player. So quite a big difference based on where you are, because the higher you are, the better players you're going to bring through. To explain briefly how to check these guys out, when you see a player on their card, you'll see 3 main things. Ignore the name because that doesn't really have any impact. You will see their age. Players will retire when they turn 32. 31 will be their last season of play, and bear in mind a season lasts around about a month. They will age every month, just to get that very clear. Don't buy a 31-year-old and think you'll have them for seasons on end. You'll have them for one season, and that'll be why they're cheaper. So with that taken into account, age is a major factor. You'll have position, and they will show their best 3 positions. If their sub-positions aren't close enough to their main position, they won't show. So if it just says one position, like centre forward, it means they're not good enough anywhere else on the pitch to show their secondary position. They can still play there, just not as well. And you'll see the number, which is their rating out of 100. If they are a bronze card, it means they're 40 or above in their rating, and that ticks up through silver cards, gold cards. We've not seen rare and legendary cards yet. Legendary will be the ones that are 90 to 100. It pretty much the only ones that will be able to get to that high a level. For the green cards, the standard common cards, you're seeing anything from, say, 23, 24, all the way through to 39 as the approximate ranges of the ratings. Where this gets interesting though, below that, there is a potential belt. In this bar, there are 3 different colours normally shown. The first one is how much potential they've already used, so that doesn't impact their current rating because it's already been done. The middle bar is how much they have unlocked. You can unlock more potential through playing games, and that time goes up and up and up. Through the previous playtest, it was 150 minutes of game time would unlock a potential training point. That would potentially go up more and more for every one. And the final bar is the maximum potential. So you can't just train a player all the way up without any ramifications. They need game time. It adds a layer to buying players that you need to know they're good enough to get game time. Otherwise, there's no point. They will never reach their maximum potential. So take that into account. Also with academy players as well, only get these guys if you're going to use them, or if you have another club you can send them to that they will get that game time to be able to be trained up to their maximum potential level. Training will also take condition away from the player. It will start relatively small, maybe 10% stamina as an example. By the time you're upgrading them to their maximum potential, you're likely going to take them out for a good couple of game weeks by training them that last level. Again, it'll increase exponentially as it happens more and more to the top end of the scale. You'll need to plan ahead for this. You will need to have a good alternative in that position if you intend on training that player the full way through that given season. Something else for you to consider. Other than that though, a lot is still the same. The interface looks the same as the previous beta tests. Formations are still very much the same as well. Subs, there are still 5 subs available per game. That could change in the future, we'll need to wait and see. And the leagues and divisions themselves, other than promotion and relegation, still work the same way. 12 teams per league, home and away. You play 22 games, had to think about that one there. 22 league games per season. The addition of cup games to come here and there, and the off days at the start of the season and the end of the season, making up round about a calendar month in total for a full season's worth of play. Just before we go any further here, if you want to recap any of this information, I will leave links in the description to the guides that will cover all of this from the Footium medium, and also if you want to grab a spreadsheet for your own team, your own players, I'll leave the link to the copy of the spreadsheet I created down there. You're more than welcome to make a copy of that and use it to your own ends, make any changes you like. There is now a new page on that, you'll notice, from the last time, and that includes the minting costs for academy players. It is a full academy sheet, so check that one out, and that will hopefully help you make your mind up about whether you actually want to sign these guys or not, given you're going to have to pay for them. Well then, that brings us to Season 0. What is Season 0? It is a normal season, the first ever season on mainnet rather than testnet, so everything is ready, all systems are go, other than a couple of little things to bear in mind. The goal of this is to make sure everything works and the bugs are squashed before the proper launch of Season 1. Everything will work as a normal season with a few very key differences. Firstly, players will not age in Season 0. Secondly, there is no promotion or relegation in Season 0. And thirdly, there are no cash prizes. What are up for grabs here are raffle tickets. These tickets can be put into raffles to win Division 4 clubs, rare players, legendary players, badge upgrades, all sorts of good stuff, all covered in the graphic that you're seeing right now on the screen. But the reason they are running Season 0 is to give people a chance to get acclimated to the game, to do their testing, to work out how they want to go ahead, what formations they want to use, and most importantly, to make sure they squash the bugs they can as well, so the game will launch successfully, touch wood, when Season 1 comes along right afterwards. Despite there being no training in Season 0, that will be added in time for Season 1, you do have an academy cohort, which you will be able to see from today on the game website. So I'll drop the link in for that as well. You can log in, connect your wallet, go to your club, go to the academy and see what's there, and then decide if you want to mint them. Even though they won't age this year, they will be your official player going into Season 1. You'll get a brand new set of 5 players come Season 1. If you want the guys you've got right now for Season 0, you will need to mint them before the end of the season, otherwise they go forever, they disappear, and they're replaced by 5 brand new cohorts. So think about it, but not too long. Use your time wisely. And with that, we'll be ready for Season 1. So if times go according to plan, Season 1 will be here around about the end of May, start of June, ready for the summertime, and there's a few things that will be brought in at that point for the brand new launch, full launch of Footium. Firstly, rare and legendary players. These aren't in the game yet, they're being held back because they don't want to give the game away yet with them. So there are a lot of rare players that have been won through competitions and build-up and all sorts of giveaways on Twitter and so on. We will find out what these guys look like. They are the second best players available. They do have potential that needs to be used for them to reach their maximum level, similar to any other player. Secondly, there are legendary players which will only be available at the moment through auction. There will be 10 players, I believe, is a plan to be auctioned before Season 1. There'll be transfer records aplenty, because these are the guys that will be the best players in the game and could be the difference at the top end between winning it all and not. So keep an eye out for that. It will be very, very interesting to see how the market develops with this happening every year. 10 legendary players will arrive on auctions every close season, and we'll see how that has an impact on the overall market as well. The player market itself is buzzing, full of activity. The prices have been pretty stable. There's a good entry level. You can easily pick up players for all of $1 pretty cheaply. Quite often guys just come up that aren't of any use and are going on the cheap. So if you just want to get started, it's an easy enough onboarding process. The club is what will be a wee bit more expensive for you. It's usually around about 0.1 ETH that I've seen them go, or 0.01 if I remember rightly. So you're talking, 0.01, kind of couple $100 or so upwards. But the players themselves will be cheap to pick up from there. Oh, one last thing, almost forgot. All the cash that is being generated right now from transfer market fees, not all of that goes towards prize pools, but a portion of it does. All the money from minting players in the academies goes straight to prize pools as well. Because that's not available in Season 0, it goes right into Season 1's pot. Season 1 will have bumper prize pots because of that, to get a bumper launch for Footium overall. All the transactions that happen in your division level, so say your tier 8, will go into that pot and be divvied out amongst the leagues. The more that people mint their players, the more that players are sold on the transfer market, the more the transfer pots, the more the prize pots will be. So again, it's dynamic and it will reward people putting their money in to try and win it back, ultimately, or win their share of it back. So if you're in a competitive tier with a lot of transactions going and you can get ahead of the game and finish top of your league, get promoted, not only will you get a higher level, not only will your club presumably be a higher value club in the overall ecosystem, there might also be nice prizes attached to it as well. We don't know what they'll be till Season 1, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it all develops. And with that is the whistle-stop tour of exactly where we are. Footium Season 0 pre-season launches today, just to re-emphasise that. If you want to have a look, go onto the site, connect with your club. If you do not own a club, have a look under other clubs. Even look for Pain City. See how my Division 8 is shaping up, ready to go. But otherwise, one last thing before you go. I won't just ask for the likes and the subscribes on the video. I'm running a real life competition as well. So, right now, Footium, on behalf of all club owners, is running a competition for sponsorship. If you can find a sponsor for your club, you'll be entered into a prize draw. I am combining this with my real life club, Tullabuddy, and Tullabuddy have just become a registered charity in Scotland, a registered charitable organisation. So what I'm doing is, if you want to sponsor Pen City shirts, for example, you'll also get a real life sleeve spot on Tullabuddy St Surf shirts going for the next 2 seasons. If you're interested, I'm pitching it around about £300, Great British pounds, I should say, not dollars. Let me know. Drop me a message, drop me a comment. It may not be the first kind of football metaverse combination, but it's something a bit different, and I thought it was a great way to try and raise funds for the club, which always needs them when we're building new teams. It's just starting a new team this season, 1 team. We now have 2 men's teams, a women's team, and community football every weekend. So at the rate we are growing, we need every penny we can get to pay for the facilities. Any interest in that will be much, much appreciated. Drop me a DM on Twitter if you wish to potentially get involved. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you for a money guide next time, talking about how to get your money into Arbitrum Ethereum, I should say. The easiest ways to do it and the most efficient ways to do it as well. But until then, catch you later on. Good luck.